210 centimeters tall, 2 consecutive All-Star games, a dream contract alongside a legend named Dr. J. This center had everything it took to go down in history as one of the greatest players of his generation. And then, his body fell apart on the hardwood in just 5 games with his dream team. The cause lay in a mistake made several years earlier, one that the player himself long didn't even suspect. Next came one of the most catastrophic trades in league history, setting an entire franchise back 2 decades. Then, a desperate attempt to return, and a new injury, even more brutal. And then, fate would give this man a second chance, only to take it away again, under circumstances that fans called outright betrayal. If you enjoy, just like I do, discovering the real stories behind NBA legends, their incredible highs, tragic downfalls, and the little-known facts that are rarely talked about today, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Your support helps the channel grow and makes new videos possible. Thank you. Now, let's continue. Today, the true story of Jeff Ruland. Watch to the end. There's a fact waiting for you that will make you see his entire career in a new light. Imagine a 2-meter-tall guy, 28 years old, standing in the locker room of his dream team. Next to him, Charles Barkley, legend Julius Erving playing his last season. Ahead, a championship, glory, a whole life. 5 games pass, just 5. And his career crumbles before your eyes, like a house of cards in a gust of wind. This isn't a screenwriter's fiction. This is the real story of Jeff Ruland, a center whom fate twice lifted to the pinnacle of the basketball Olympus and twice ruthlessly cast down. Today, we'll break down every twist of this story, from the kid on Long Island to one of the bitterest trades in NBA history. And trust me, the ending of this story will make you look at professional sports with completely different eyes. Jeff Ruland was born in December 1958 in the small town of Bay Shore, New York. An ordinary American family, an ordinary suburb. But even in his teens, it became clear, this boy was not like everyone else. He grew by leaps and bounds. By the time his peers were just starting to think seriously about basketball, Ruland was already a giant, standing 210 centimeters tall, playing as if the weight of opponents meant nothing to him. At Sayville High School in Lake Ronkonkoma, he literally broke through opposing defenses, not with roughness, but with both mass and technique. College coaches quickly sensed it. A future star was before them. Offers poured in, one after another, and young Jeff made a choice that seemed modest at the time. Iona College, a small school in New Rochelle. It turned out that the modesty of the choice had nothing to do with the scale of his game. Over 3 seasons with the Iona Gales, Ruland became a true sensation in college basketball. In his very first year, he led all freshmen in the nation in statistics, averaging 22 points and nearly 13 rebounds per game. Twice, he was named one of the top college players in America. His team made the NCAA tournament 2 years in a row, and their overall record over 3 seasons was an impressive 69 wins against 21 losses. The culmination of Ruland's college career came on the evening of February 21, 1980, at Madison Square Garden, when his team defeated Louisville, the very Louisville that would become national champions a few months later. By the time he graduated, Ruland ranked 3rd in scoring in Iona history and 2nd in rebounding. It seemed the road to the NBA was paved with a red carpet before him. The 1980 draft confirmed expectations. The Golden State Warriors selected him in the 2nd round with the 25th pick. But instead of flying straight to California, the young center made a decision that looked almost insane for an American athlete of that era. He went to Spain to play for the legendary Barcelona. A year overseas turned into a true triumph. A Spanish League championship, a Copa del Rey victory, recognition among European basketball audiences. America was waiting for its prodigal son, and when Ruland returned home in 1981, his basketball fate seemed only just beginning in earnest. He signed not with Golden State, but with the Washington Bullets, and the next 5 years became the golden period of his career. In his debut season, he made the league's all-rookie team. Year after year, his stats rose. The center averaged around 20 points and controlled the glass, grabbing over 10 rebounds per game. In the 1983 season, he put up a phenomenal game against Detroit, 38 points and 16 rebounds with incredible shooting accuracy. A few months later, he set a personal rebounding record, 24 in a single game against Houston. His teammates gave him the nickname McFilthy for his aggressive, uncompromising style of play around the rim. 2 years in a row, in 1984 and 1985, he was named to the All-Star Game rosters. At that point, it seemed absolutely obvious. Before the basketball world stood a future Hall of Famer. But behind this brilliant facade, a time bomb was already ticking. Back in his college years, playing for Iona, Ruland had suffered a meniscus injury. The problem wasn't the injury itself. Many athletes face such things and recovered fully. The problem was that no one had properly taught him how to rehabilitate his knee. Doctors missed the moment, and the damage began to slowly but steadily progress. Year after year, game after game, the knee grew weaker, and along with it, the overall strain on the entire musculoskeletal system of a giant weighing over 100 kilograms increased. In the 1984-85 season, the issue first surfaced in full force. Ruland broke a bone in his foot and played only 37 games during the entire regular season. But even that didn't stop him. In the playoffs, he took the court, gritting his teeth through the pain, and still the team lost. The center's body was sending alarm signals. No one, including the player himself, yet understood just how serious the consequences would be. In the summer of 1986, Washington's front office made a decision that forever changed the fate of the franchise and Ruland himself. The club sent him, along with forward Cliff Robinson, to Philadelphia in exchange for league star Moses Malone, forward Terry Catledge, and 2 first-round draft picks. At the same time, the Sixers pulled off another deal, trading the first overall pick for forward Roy Hinson. That very first pick, which Cleveland would later use to select Brad Daugherty, a future multiple-time All-Star. Years later, basketball historians would call these 2 trades among the most disastrous decisions in Philadelphia franchise history. The club, which had dominated since 1977, would all but vanish from the ranks of true championship contenders for nearly 2 decades. But at the moment of signing, Ruland himself had no inkling of the trade's future tragedy. On the contrary, he was absolutely thrilled. He was joining a team where Charles Barkley played, where Julius Erving, the legendary Dr. J, whom Ruland had admired since childhood, was playing his final season. Alongside him were star guard Andrew Toney and playmaker Maurice Cheeks. "I thought we were going to win a championship," he recalled later in one interview. "Everything looked perfect. Everything except one thing. The knee that had been slowly deteriorating from within for years." The denouement came swiftly and cruelly. Ruland took the court for his new team. Game 1, Game 2, Game 3. The 5th game of the season, and the center physically could not continue. The injury that had been building up for years finally exploded in full force. The season was over for him. The next one, too. A player who had just been a 2-time All-Star, at 28 years old, effectively vanished from professional basketball at the peak of his career. "I didn't think I'd play only 5 games, he admitted years later, recalling that ill-fated season. For a professional athlete, such a blow is not just physical pain. It is the collapse of an entire identity, of all the meaning built through years of hard work since childhood in Bayshore. Ruland himself spoke about this honestly. No one chooses injury voluntarily, and when your career is taken away precisely at the moment of your prime, it feels like a true catastrophe. Years passed, but the hope of a return never faded. In the 1991-92 season, Ruland made a desperate comeback attempt, again donning a Philadelphia uniform. 13 games and a new injury, this time a ruptured Achilles tendon, put an end to that attempt as well. It seemed the period should have been placed right then, but the center's persistence proved stronger than the logic of professional sports. The next season, he started in a Detroit Pistons uniform, having signed as a free agent. 11 games, and in January 1993, the club decided to part ways with the player. That was the final point in a playing career that had once promised to be legendary. The final stats across all his seasons are impressive even now. Nearly 5,800 points scored, over 3,000 rebounds, more than 1,000 assists. Numbers of a man who, under different circumstances, might well have ranked among the greatest centers of his generation. Yet Jeff Ruland's story does not end there. It merely changes scenery. After finishing his playing career, he did not leave basketball, but moved to the coaching bench. He started as an assistant in Philadelphia under Fred Carter, then returned to his alma mater, Iona College, where his path to glory had begun, first as an assistant, and from 1998 onward as head coach. And here, fate seemed to smile on him a second time. 8 seasons at the helm brought impressive results. 3 conference championships, 3 NCAA tournament appearances, 3 seasons with 20 or more wins. A man who had lost his playing career due to his own body was building a new life by passing on experience to the next generation. But this ascent, too, ended in a sharp and painful fall. The 2006-07 season turned into a true catastrophe. His team won only 2 games while losing 28. The university administration had by then fired his assistants, depriving the coach of the ability to properly recruit new players. On March 21, 2007, Jeff Ruland was relieved of his duties. After that, he briefly coached a developmental league team in Albuquerque, worked again as an assistant in Philadelphia for a short time, and then took over the university team in the District of Columbia, where he worked until 2013, his final departure from the professional basketball world. Looking back over this entire journey, one cannot escape a single thought. Jeff Ruland was a player who possessed everything necessary to go down in NBA history as one of the outstanding centers of his era. Power, skill, on-court intelligence, leadership qualities. He had all of it in abundance. Only one thing was missing: a properly treated knee back in his college years. One medical oversight in youth changed the entire trajectory of a great career, robbed fans of a decade of potential greatness, and turned a rising star into a tragic figure of the 70s through 90s. One can only ask the question that history will never answer. What kind of player could Jeff Ruland have become if back at the very beginning, doctors had explained to him how to properly take care of his own body? If Jeff Ruland's story moved you as much as it moved us, be sure to watch other videos on our channel about the fates of great players from that era. Links to them have already appeared on screen. There you will find stories no less poignant and truthful about people whose names once thundered across the league.